The man wildly scattered cash, causing a commotion among the crowd below. His goal was to provide cover for his accomplices across the street to carry out the robbery. John and his partner arrived at the pre-arranged hiding spot, set up the wiring, dragged in steel plates to connect the joints, secured the plates in the center, drilled a hole, inserted the prepared bomb, and finally covered it with a mattress. Everything was ready, waiting for Nick's side to act. The next second, the screams successfully masked the sound of the explosion. Nick let out a sigh of relief, but the more critical action was yet to come. He asked negotiation expert Leah for a cigarette to calm his nerves. Leah lit the last cigarette, handed it to Nick, and told him to keep half for himself. But when Leah received the remaining half of the cigarette, she immediately handed it to her colleagues in the room to collect fingerprints from the cigarette butt. Meanwhile, John and his team had already reached the ventilation shaft through the blown open hole. They used an iron rod to forcefully stop the fan, bent the blades, and crawled through, successfully entering the diamond vault level via the elevator shaft. Next, they had to pass through the surveillance zone. John lay on the skateboard, covering it with a cloth matching the floor's color. The security personnel were focused on the news of Nick jumping off the building, completely unaware that someone was passing by behind them. Once they reached the surveillance blind spot, John took out the camera, snapped photos from the surveillance angle, printed them out, and placed them on the model in front of the camera. However, their joy was short-lived as they encountered a problem. New sensors had been installed in the corridor. The two were immediately stumped. John sought Nick's help, but since Leah was present, Nick couldn't respond directly. Instead, he spoke to them through Leah.
Listen, this thing that we got here, I think we should cool it down.
John didn't understand, but the woman figured it out. It was a heat sensor, and all they needed to do was lower the temperature. So they took a fire extinguisher and sprayed it all over the sensor, freezing it completely. With that, the two made it to the vault door and prepared to enter through the ventilation shaft beside it. But just then, the police identified Nick through his fingerprints.